Hi everybody, this is a video to show you how to take through Design Space the new SVG to cut this backpack style gift bag. This is a really big bag. It's cut as tall as possible on 12 by 12 card. It's not as wide as possible, so in theory you could make it even bigger on A3 or tabloid if you wanted to. But for today I'm just going to show you it at the size it already comes into Design Space. Okay, so let's just grab it from my library. Right, so there it is. All the pieces for the project are in the one SVG file, which looks a little bit daunting, but it's fairly straightforward really. The first step we've got to do, as we always do with any multi-part SVG file that's got score lines, is we need to convert those lines that come in as cuts, which actually should be scores. And in my SVGs, they always live in that first subgroup in your layers panel. So if an SVG has been saved properly, if it's got multiple parts and multiple scores, it will hopefully come in just in two nice tidy subgroups held within an overall group. And one subgroup will have all your scores in and the other subgroup will have all your cut pieces. So it's nice and easy to convert your scores. So you're just gonna, it'll come in all open like that, so I'll show you it open as it looks. You're going to click on the name of that first subgroup. It's the second line down in your layers panel, as you can see. That selects everything in it. You're going to go to your operations menu, click on basic cut and go down to score. Obviously I'm on the desktop version for PC. If you're on the mobile app it'll look slightly different, but these are the names of the commands that you're looking for. So you can see now that where the score lines are, they've been converted to those dashed lines. I'll just see if I can zoom in a little bit without losing too much off the edges. Yeah, it does. It's hard, it won't let you go to like an in-between. Right, while they're still selected, I need to make this a bit clearer, don't I? You need to ungroup them. So don't deselect it, go back to your layers panel and go to ungroup at the top and ungroup them. And you can see that that group's disappeared now. They're all separate on screen. Next step is to select that second subgroup which has all the cuts in it. Again, you only need to click on the name of it and it selects everything in there. And all we need to do here is ungroup, no converting obviously. And the final step is to select absolutely everything on screen. A few different ways to do that. You can just click on that final group and that gets everything. Or you can use the select all button, or you can drag a box around everything. However you do it, once it's selected, ungroup a third time. And so now we can attach individual scores to the individual pieces that they relate to. And the quickest way to do that, I think, is to click on canvas somewhere near one piece, drag a box to enclose it and choose attach from the bottom of your layers panel. Again, it'll be somewhere else if you're on the mobile app. I always use Alt-A when I'm on my PC because it's much quicker than moving your mouse around a lot. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just selecting the piece and Alt-A. This is, I'll just tell you what they are. You don't need to know really because you get your PDF with the download and that's got a diagram on the front which tells you exactly what each piece is, and then you get loads of instructions, loads of photographs showing you how to assemble it. As I mentioned on the Etsy listing, I'll just pause for a second and say this. I don't think this is a good project for a beginner simply because it has so many pieces to it. And it's not a quick build. I think you're probably looking at least an hour and a half to build this nicely, and that's if you're used to doing it a lot. It will probably take you quite a bit longer if you're a beginner, and you might be a bit disappointed with the result. Just remember how good you are. Depends on how good you are. But I don't think I would have tackled anything quite this difficult when I first started. But you can do as you wish, obviously. So side pockets, little lids for the side pockets. This is the lid for the front pocket. Again, you just need to attach those scores. This is the front pocket itself. Attach. These are the studs that go on that little pocket there. Like so. These are buckles for the actual backpack straps that go on the back. These are those straps. So again, a little bit fiddly to get at. This is sometimes why I like to move them away as well, so you've got a bit more room to get to the thing that you're looking at. And you notice that I attach it and then I click off it and then I drag it, and that's just to make sure that I have attached it, because quite often I might forget, or I didn't quite hit the keyboard properly, and so that's why I always click off and then click back on. It's a bit like how I check I've locked the door 10 times before I go to bed. These are the trim for the front and back. These are the, or that one I didn't say is the middle section of the wall, so it's the base of the bag basically. These are the side walls, and when you do these, I'll just zoom in. When you do any piece that's got these tiny little cuts in it, you do need to make sure you select absolutely everything. Go around the whole shape just to make sure, and attach, because even though they're not scores, they are tiny cuts, and even though that shape is grouped, the cuts will go off on their own if you don't attach them. Just zoom out again. This piece here is the bag back, and there are no scores on it, but there are two tiny cuts. There's the slit for the internal pocket, and there's this tiny cut here, which actually is a registration cut for when you come to attach the walls. Really quite important that you've still got that to make sure you get nice symmetrical walls. So you need to attach that as well. Even though there are no scores, you still need to attach. This is the front of the bag, and again, you've got some registration cuts there for the straps, couple there for the front pocket, and you've got that one for the walls. So again, really important to attach. This is the carry strap. This is the lid for the whole bag, or the flap for the backpack, or whatever you want to call it. These are the buckle straps for the front of the bag. Lots of parts, as you can see. But I've tried to differentiate between them so that using your diagram, you will be able to identify what's what once you've cut it. You know, so even though they look similar, you've got rounded ends on one and square ends on another, and that sort of thing. And with these backpack straps, if I can get it to come to me, there we go. The top straps have got one score, the bottom straps have got 3 scores, and these are all things I point out in the instructions just to help you identify things. So that's the internal pocket liner, that's the zip. The red piece is the placket that the zip sits on when you assemble it. These are the buckles for these little front straps here. Those are the tabs for the zip. This tiny piece here, which is what joins the tab onto the zip, that actually has a score, so you just need to attach that tiny little score line there. I think that's everything. We'll find out when we hit make it. Let's go. Right, so first of all, up comes all the trim, the zip and the buckles. Pardon me, not the trim. That will all fit obviously on about half a sheet of A4. You could move that up there. Oh no, maybe not. Yes, you could, because you could put that one up there and just move that up a bit, and then you're wasting even less. And everything else of the bag, some of it will actually cut on A4, but all of it will definitely cut on 12 by 12. So you would need 4 sheets for the basic bag body, and these are the contrast pieces. 12 by 12 again, I think it's 2 sheets for that. Let's have a look. It says, I think I moved mine around. What have I got on that last one? Yes, so let's see. Let's just have a look at these. Right, so I think that little strap there, we'll try it. I think that one will actually move onto there. We'll give it a go anyway. Yeah, so there it is. We're going to use the little rotating handle to move it around. It easily slots there. It's funny what Design Space does, isn't it, sometimes? What we got on here? You see, I think that other insert, trim, I should call it, that other trim will fit down the side of that one. So we'll pop that there, rotate it. I'm holding the shift key down so it goes at 90 degrees. And there it fits nicely. Pop that other one. Ooh, just squeezes in there. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 sheets of 12 by 12 for the main bag body. and 2 sheets for the contrasts and the trim. That's a lot. That's making the bag at full size. And if you check the dimensions given on Etsy and in your instructions, it's a huge bag. You might not need it that big, so you could cut it smaller if you wanted. The only caveat I would say about cutting it smaller is that if you do that, maybe the carry strap will go quite narrow. That piece there is the carry strap. Um, so you might need to double that up. Perhaps you'd need to cut 2 of those and stick them together if it was going to be a little bit thinner. That's if you're putting anything of weight in your bag. If you're not, it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's that. I'm not going to cut it. I hope that's clear. Without a doubt, it's a complicated SVG. I almost gave up on this several times in the process because I thought, well, I like it, but will anyone else ever make it? I hope you do because it's a really lovely, impressive looking bag once you've made it. But if you've never made anything before, maybe try one of the simpler handbags first before you come onto this, just because it's quite a lot to work through. There's actually quite a lot of steps. I think in the instructions there are something like 90 steps, 80 or 90 steps anyway, and some of those will be as small as sticking buckle halves together, that sort of thing. Um, and I do provide a photograph and a step for every tiny piece of the project, but it does mean that they're quite long instructions, and I think they might be a little bit off-putting. If you bought this SVG and you thought, oh, good grief, there's 15 pages of instructions. So you've been warned. I hope you like it. I hope you make it. If you have any issues when you come to cut it or assemble it, as always, don't hesitate to get in touch. I'm always happy to help. All I want you to do is to create a beautiful result from the SVGs you buy from me. So no question is a stupid question. You can always ask and I'm happy to help. The links to get in touch are in the description below. And if you've just stumbled across this SVG and think you might like to have a go, the link to purchase it is down there as well. Thanks a lot. Bye.